So there was a post on something the kids call the Underground Forum. Now, the Underground Forum is a massive meeting ground for our community. Always has been. I know forum is a word that you take for granted on websites now, and they're all over the place, and you hear about Reddit, and you hear all these different things. That's not always true. There's actually a mechanism, and back when script used to be written in the form of HTML, hypertext markup language, you had to be pretty damn good at what you did to have a forum. So I only bring that to you because it's one of these things that does date itself back, and it still lives on. A guy went on there, and he was talking about Colby Covington, and he said Colby Covington has no wins over current top 10 welterweights. I used to be a big fan, but all he's done in recent years is run away from big fights, nothing to pad his record, and he's making a big mistake fighting Kamaru Usman at this point in his career without a warm-up fight. End quote. Off the top of my head, how impressed are you? But I'll tell you this. The argument's got major flaws, right? I mean, the overarching argument is he should not be fighting the number one guy in the world without a warm-up fight. But it's supporting cases for why the guy is no longer a fan is because Colby hasn't fought anybody in the top 10. Well, if you want him to fight a guy in the top 10 and he's willing to fight number one, but you're telling him you don't want to do it, what is it you're arguing for? I want to be part of this. I want to rebuke this. I want to make you look like a fool. I just don't know in which direction to go. You're saying he didn't fight anybody in the top 10. Says who? Who the hell knows where to get a ranking? How do you know what anybody is ranked? And I know there's an answer to that. There is a way to do it. But if you know what that way is, you know something that the rest of the world doesn't. I don't even know where these rankings live. I can tell you something Colby did do. He won a world damn championship. I can tell you something Colby did do. He gave Kamaru Usman the hardest, most interesting, dirtiest fight, not only of his career, in the history of the division and possibly the sport. I can tell you something Colby did do. He fought former world champions. T. Wood comes to mind. I don't know what T. Wood was. You're telling me T. Wood wasn't ranked in the top 10? I'm telling you he's a world champion who's going to be in the Hall of Fame. You're telling me he's not in the top 10? You might be right. That doesn't sound right. That makes very little sense. Colby's been ranked number 3 for 3 years. I can't imagine T. Wood, who wasn't in the top 10, got a fight with the number 3 guy if he wasn't in the top 10. So I do dispute you, though I'll admit I don't have proof, but I will never have it because I don't know where the hell you get a ranking. And what's more impressive, to fight a ranked guy or to find a former world champion who's going to be in the Hall of Fame? I mean, it just seems like a really weird argument to me. And you think he should have a warm-up fight with who? Who is it you think he should fight as a way of preparing himself for Kamaru Usman? And what kind of sense does that make? You do not get better by fighting, contrary to any other sport or belief. You want to be really good at soccer? Go out, play a whole bunch of games of soccer. I trust that would help. You want to be good at pool? Go shoot a bunch of pool. I would trust logically you will get better. You get worse in fighting. You don't get better. You leave a part of yourself out there. You got so many bullets in your gun. I will tell you the best athletes that I knew. I grew up as a wrestler, but the best guys I knew, he could be a 4-time state champion. It could be the 4-time national champion. It could be the guy that went on right after college and won the Olympic Games. They all have one thing in common. All of them. And I could name names and I could impress you. Their careers are done at 27 years old or younger. All of the greats that I know, the true greats, the boys, the men amongst boys, right? The shark in the tank. They were all retired and done by 27. You only have so many in the chamber. You can fire them wherever you want. Your ability to extend your career is something that I personally will respect. But either way, you got so many wins in you. Go get them when you want. You want to do 4 state titles and 4 national championships? You want to go win the Olympics. If your career is over at 27, you're also going to be judged for that. What in the hell took so long? What got you out of there so quick? Your mind is chewed up or your body's chewed up? It's one of the two. Is it both? You could have extended that, is my argument. It's a philosophy and a theory based on evidence, based on studying. But when I hear somebody should warm up, look, there is such a thing as ring rust. You can be out of there too long, and I'm not arguing with you there. every fighter in the history of fighting that isn't named Dominic Cruz will suffer from ring rust, but Colby's not near that. He's not even close to that. He's had 2 training camps already, whether you understand it or not, 2 different times where he thought that he was fighting, one against Usman, one against Masvidal. He went into camp, thought he had these fights. Now he's got Masvidal again. Great, he's back in camp. I just found it to be a very weird argument. First off, who he fought that was ranked. I don't know if you're right or not. I'll never know. I'll never know, and that argument will never hold up because nobody knows where to get the rankings, and nobody respects them. We respect world champions. He's fought world champions. I just named them. He was the champion. To win that championship, he beat a world champion in RDA. I mean, this is a hard schedule. And it's a guy that feels sharp. And this isn't the guy that's out partying on the weekends and getting old and doing things. He's buckled down. He's having some fun with you in the media. The rest of the day, he's focused on his goal. And I don't know how we can have it both ways. You want to insult Colby for what? For taking a fight that you think is too hard for him? Or you're going to insult him for not taking other fights that weren't hard enough for him? What are you arguing?